What's up, you beautiful, sexy people? It's another episode of Driving Dialogue. Oh yeah, it's Friday. You know what that means. It means it's Friday. And that means we got Friday energy! Yeah, Friday energy! Actually, I'm lying. I'm actually very, very tired. But in theory, we have Friday energy. And between you and me, I'm sneaking out of work a little bit early, only 22 minutes early. Not a big deal. But still, you know, it's like, if you do your job, you should be able to leave. That's kind of how I feel. However, I finished my job probably around 6:30. So I've spent the last hour or so just sitting in my car, waiting until I usually post on TikTok and YouTube my video of the day, because I usually post that around 7:30. And once that's posted, I was like, all right, we're free to just try to do another podcast episode and drive the hell home. Yes, sir. Let's see, I should have something to talk about. Off the top of my head, I thought I'd talk a bit more about my experiences in Canada. Oh yeah, Canada. What a piece of crap country that is. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I was going there as a chaperone for my little sister because my mom figured that my ex-stepfather couldn't possibly kill me, or rather kill her daughter, if I went with her. I really don't know the logic there, but I don't know. I think she just wanted to get rid of both of her kids for the summer. But it was definitely one of the worst summers of my life, the summer I went to Canada. Holy crap. Because it's like, he's the same abusive asshole. It's just, it was like 3 or 4 years later. And my mom's like, yeah, even though he was an alcoholic, let's give him another chance. It's been a whole 3 or 4 years. And I gotta tell you, the man was still mentally unstable. Alcohol or not, he was a broken man. Like, my mom, because of sending her son to another country, decided maybe it'd be smart to give my son his own cell phone. And it was just a basic piece of crap phone. It just made calls and could play the game Snake. That's it. That's all it could do. But for whatever reason, just because I'm from a different generation and my youth threatened my ex-stepfather, this Canadian alcoholic, he was so mad at me for having a cell phone. Like, he just thought I was this jerk. Because that was the mentality of older guys back then, when the cell phones were first coming out. There were so many people like, oh, look at you, Mr. Wall Street. What are you gonna do? Call the president? Oh, you think you're so cool because you have a phone without wires. There was this weird prejudice against anyone, especially men. Like, it was for some reason socially acceptable for a woman to have a cell phone first. But if you're a guy, unless you're in a business suit, you weren't really allowed to have a cell phone. So that's what I had to deal with the alcoholic ex-stepfather. The entire time he was just pissed off that I had a cell phone. And my mom had one request. You know, once a day in the evening, call my mom and check in with her. Well, if you want to talk about a major red flag of a human being, that's my ex-stepfather, the alcoholic Canadian. Every time I called my mom, he stood there in the same room as me and would preside over my phone call with my mother. He would oversee the phone call between me and my mom just to make sure that I didn't say anything that could put him in a negative light. Even though he just spent the entire day giving me a bad time, God forbid I report that he actually gave me a bad time. So he had to like control the narrative. So if I said anything that was slightly criticizing his parenting or my experience in this house, he would snatch the phone away from me mid-conversation with my mom and be like, "Hi, Sam. I just want to step in and correct a few things," and blah, blah, blah. Adult talk. And I'm just this little kid trying to tell the truth, trying to be honest with my mom. I'm just a scared little boy, thousands and thousands of miles away from my home state, in a foreign country with an ex-alcoholic. God forbid I report the truth, and then he just snatches the phone from me, and then I get in trouble, no dinner tonight or whatever. And like, another thing is, he, much like my own real father, this ex-stepfather was no different, where they always have to let you know how much they hate paying child support, how hard their lives are because they have to pay child support, and as if it's somehow my fault that you have to pay child support. Hey, guess what? If you stayed married to my mom, was a good human being, helped raise me, and you weren't a piece of shit alcoholic, you wouldn't have to pay child support. You'd just be part of my fucking family, and you could have helped raise us, and maybe you would have saved some money than whatever you pay in child support. But I guarantee that you're paying way less in child support than you would have if you actually were involved with the raising of the family you committed to. But, far be it from me to bring that up. Maybe be a little bit more serious. Maybe take the wedding vows a little bit more serious next time. Maybe next time when you get married, realize that this is kind of serious business. Maybe I should marry somebody that I actually really want to marry. Someone that I actually think that I won't divorce. Maybe that'll save you a little money in child support next time. I don't know. I'm not a genius or anything. But somehow I figured that all out at 12 years old. Somehow at 12 years old, I was like, damn, seeing all this firsthand, this whole bull crap with broken families and divorces, maybe I should only marry the love of my life. Maybe only get married one time. Maybe don't have children out of wedlock and then feel pressured by society to get married for stupid reasons. Maybe only get married if you're right for each other. It's just what I'm saying. But anyways, he'd snatch the phone away from me, get mad at me for reporting the truth to my mom. What is that truth? Well, let's start with this. Like I said, he was complaining about paying child support, even though it was paying the child support of my little sister, not me. But she's too young to blame and get angry at. You gotta get angry at me. The kid that you used to abuse, you might as well pick up where you left off. You might as well pick up where you left off for a summer and get to kick me around for a summer again. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, and how about we only eat tomato soup with corn? Because, as you explain, you can't afford any other food. I find that hard to believe. Man. That you could only afford canned tomato soup and frozen corn, and we had to eat that meal every single night? No, I think you purposely did that. I think you were trying to send a message. I think you were trying to punish me for existing. You were trying to just get, not pay, trying to save a little money. I don't think you actually ate this meal all the time. I think it was special. I think it was just because, me and my little sister were there, that you were trying to send a message to my mom that I would come home after 2 months in Canada of eating nothing but frickin' tomato soup and corn, that I would report back to my mom, "You gotta lower the child support payments. He's struggling. All he eats is tomato soup and corn. Mom, you're a monster, requiring $200 a month, you monster." And I'm not just making that number up, because $200 is how much my biological father had to pay, because me and my little sister each have different dads. And so let's talk about something else that sucked when I was there in Canada. Because we were only there for 2 months in the summer, the point is, for whatever reason, the ex-alcoholic Canadian had it in his idea, well, this short time I have this short time with my daughter, right? That's his perspective. I have this short time with my daughter. I know. I'll celebrate every holiday I've ever missed with her. I don't know how long he hadn't seen his daughter at this point. Excuse me. Man. Anyways, I don't know how long he hadn't seen his daughter at this point, but he felt this idea that, oh, I'm going to celebrate every holiday I missed. So we're talking every day was like a birthday for her. One day, like we celebrated Easter, even though this is the middle of the summer, because he just wanted to live the experiences of being her father for these holidays. Problem, I'm there, not his son. Even though he pretended to be my father for a little bit while he abused me and my mom, for whatever reason, this particular summer he decided, yeah, Jake's here, but I'm not really going to be his dad. Because when my little sister was celebrating Easter, I made the mistake of collecting some of the eggs that he had hidden. Because in my world, up to this point, Easter was a shared holiday amongst all the children. But as I was informed, well, Jacob, this isn't for you, okay? I don't get to see my daughter that much. And for anyways, you're 12 years old now. You're too old to be celebrating like this anyways. Guess what? In my real family, no, I wasn't too young. My family wanted me collecting Easter eggs until I was well into my 16s and 17s and 18s. My family loved keeping our youth as long as possible, and God bless them for it. How dare you, just because I'm 12 years old, just because I'm not actually your kid, I'm not allowed to celebrate this holiday that you've prepared only for my little sister. So I had to just sit there and just watch my little sister get all these holidays. Like I said, multiple birthdays that he missed, multiple Easters that he missed, multiple Christmases that he missed. I had to witness and just sit there in silence while all my little sister got to experience all these holidays. And I think that was part of the FU to me also. I think that was part of a punishment to me also. I think that was all part of his psychological, how do I F this kid up some more? I can't molest him anymore, but maybe I can mess up his brain in other ways. And he did. And he insisted when we went to the gym that I have to change out of my clothes in front of him or take showers in front of him. And it's like, that's all reflective of the trauma and molestation that I faced from him when I was younger. And I had to do it all again, except 3-4 years later, except, he didn't actually touch me this time. But he still, made me change in front of him and shower in front of him and just be a creep and feed me nothing but tomato soup and corn and make me watch my little sister open presents and collect Easter eggs and live this amazing life while I just had to sit there and be treated like crap. It was just the worst summer ever, man. And we went on a bike trip at one point, and I never used this bike before. It's not my bike from home. It's some strange Canadian bike. And I used the kickstand, and when I used the kickstand, it dug into my leg, and it sliced up my leg, and I still have the scar to this day. And because I was in a foreign nation with foreign people who don't care about me, because I don't actually have any family, I'm on my own out there, I had to figure out at 12 years old how to tend to this massive wound in the bathroom of a stranger with the supplies that I had. And as I sit here complaining to you about this experience, let me tell you something that's happening in real life, real time. As I'm driving right now, there is an ambulance in front of me, and I can see that there is a little boy, a tiny little boy, probably 5, 6, 7 years old, on a gurney or whatever you call it, inside of the paramedic vehicle in front of me. And I see his mom like stroking his hair, and I see the nurses with their facial expressions of concern. Who am I to complain about my childhood when I see a child literally in an ambulance in front of me? I can't help but put pause on my story. I can't help but be reflective of my past a little bit and just appreciate the fact that I never went into an ambulance. I never had to go 911, what is your emergency? Help, my kid needs an ambulance. I never had that, at least. I may have had all these other experiences, but at least I didn't have that one. Especially because I hate the hospital. I hate doctors. I hate nurses. I mean, I love them, but I hate them. You know what I mean? I love them at a distance. But when they're up and close and forcing you to take needles and slicing your skin open, or freezing you, or burning you, or whatever they do, putting pills and medicine into you, I'm just saying, it's usually a bad reason you're at a hospital. So it's not too crazy for me to like associate hospitals with badness. Sorry, I do. And I hate them. I'm scared of them. I hate them. But I appreciate what they do and I respect them, blah, 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 blah. I mean, one of the big reasons that I hate hospitals so much, once again, has to do with my little sister. When she was first born, she had hydrocephalus. Still has hydrocephalus today. What is hydrocephalus? Well, I'll tell you this, I could never spell it for you. Hydrocephalus basically means too much water on the brain. So when she was born, after like the first 3, 4, 5 weeks of her being born, her head started swelling and it became 2 times the size of a normal baby's head. And at that point we realized something's freaking wrong. We took her to the hospital. The last thing you want to hear about your newborn baby is it needs brain surgery. She needed brain surgery, man. And like, if I remember correctly, she was like too young. I mean, they might have like did a little brain surgery, but like ideally you want to wait until she's like 2 years old. So like for the first few years, she just had an abnormally large head, and until she was like 2 years old, and then finally at 2 years old, she had the massive, intense, heavy-duty brain surgery in San Francisco. We had to go to San Francisco because there was no one else that could do this level of quality and intensity brain surgery on a young baby child other than Dr. Peacock in San Francisco. My little sister must have lived in a hospital for like 6 months, and so did my mom, because she's a good mom and stayed with her daughter. But it's like, I just remember I had no mom for that time, and I had no little sister. And I didn't know what was going on, and I'm young, but I'm impressionable. And she was so young that you ask my sister today, she has no memory of this. But I remember walking into that frickin' hospital in San Francisco, walking up to the top floors into her private room, and seeing my little sister in a glass prison, like some sort of scientific experiment with tubes and pipes and weird things all coming out of her. She was more machine than human. She was a cyborg at that time. And it was so traumatizing for me, witnessing that, seeing all that. All the times we took her to the hospital, she'd be screaming. She'd be screaming in pain. Taking the stitches out was incredibly traumatic for her. And I had to sit there and watch at an older age, at an age where I could actually remember this crap. Because she doesn't remember any of that crap. I do. And it's much like how my little sister and little cousins, who are all about the same age, They all grew up watching their crappy children's programming, right? The crappy children's TV shows. Well, who was like older and had to watch it with them? Me. Except I had a brain. I had a memory. So what does that mean? What am I saying? I'm saying they don't remember the Wiggles. They don't remember all that crap TV. But guess who does? Me. I remember all those crappy songs. Captain Feathersword, Dorothy the flower-eating dinosaur. I love it when it rains and the horse goes swish, swish, swish. I remember all that crap and they don't. It was frickin' child torture for me because I was rolling my eyes the entire time. But they liked it. But it's like, why couldn't we just watch something that I liked? Oh, TVY7. Ooh, so inappropriate. I would have been happy and they would have been just as entertained. They didn't retain any of it. They didn't retain any of it. They were hardly paying attention when it was on in the first place. I'm speaking on behalf of all older siblings. Hear my plea. It is yours as well. We did not have to sit there watching that crap. They were wrong. Baby Einstein doesn't in fact make you into an Einstein. Who knew? Just let the older kid watch his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Let me watch my Spider-Man. Let me watch my Justice League. Guess what? The babies in the room with me will be fine. They'll be just as entertained. And their IQ will not be affected. It'll be just as affected as if they were watching Dorothy the dinosaur. Okay? They're not retaining it. It's just flashing lights and sound effects. That's what the children are paying attention to. And if anything, they might grow up a little cooler because they grew up watching Spider-Man and not the frickin' Wiggles. But that's just the angry opinions of someone who's an older sibling. If you're not an older sibling, you don't understand the pain. You don't understand the struggle. You don't understand what it's like to spend hours and hours and hours watching crappy children's television when you are way too old to have to be watching crappy children's television. And the parents don't get it. They don't care. They don't care that the older kid has to suffer because for whatever reason, you only care about the baby children. You only care about the younger children. As soon as a child reaches a certain age, that age is like around 10 or so it seems, the parents take a big step backwards. They're like, all right, you're not as cute anymore. Time for you to figure stuff out yourself. Time for you to suffer. Time for you to mow the lawn. Time for you to take out the garbage. Time for you to wash the dishes. Oh, but we need to gush and, oh, look how cute the little baby is. Oh, put on the Wiggles for her. Put it on full blast. We got the sing-along version. Everyone sing along. And meanwhile, there's just so many shows that I was supposed to grow up watching that my friends everyone loves superheroes. Like the Avengers movies, they're so big. It's the newest fad, Everyone, there's a Wanda TV show. All these Disney superhero shows. You can watch the the Falcon. I don't know who these people are. I only know Batman and Spider-Man. That's about it. I've heard of the other guys, but I don't really know them. I watched some of the Justice League TV show. But the point is, maybe I would have been more normal. Maybe I would have been more like the normal everyone else people if I was allowed to watch the shows that everyone else got to watch. But when you live with a big family, when you have many siblings, when you have many cousins, You can either, like, you know, put your foot down and be like, no, I need to watch something too. It's my turn. But I never was that guy. I'm still not that guy. I'm the guy who's a peacekeeper. I'm the guy that just wants everything to flow. Just wants everything to be normal. Just wants everything to be comfortable. Just wants everything to be serene. I love peace. And that is why I'm a peacekeeper. And I've spent my entire life, even, having to be this peacekeeper person. Having, like, when people, like, freak out, I'm like, all right, what's the problem? How can I help? It's not my problem, but because it's such a problem for you guys, and you're arguing about it, you've now affected my life. Even though this has nothing to do with me, you guys have made it such a problem amongst yourselves in my public airwaves that I have no choice but to feel like I need to step in to fix the problem because I just want frickin' peace. That's all I want. But I can't get it. I can't get peace. The world won't give me peace. I don't know why. Everyone wants to fight. Everyone wants to argue. Everyone wants to be a piece of crap. Why can't we just be polite and quietly disagree? Why can't we compromise? Why can't we find middle ground? Like, I can't even find peace at my own home these days. They've been doing all this construction. There's arborists, or whatever you want to call them, tree people at my house. They were just using the chainsaw. Like, there's so many trees around my house, or like I should say there were, and they're just cutting them all down. And it's sad because I'm kind of a hippie at heart. Like, I love trees. I just think they're amazing. Like, they do such good work. They give us air and shit. That's cool. And also, I like that they provide homes for animals, thus, supporting the circle of life. So when we cut down trees, we're not just cutting down a tree, you're cutting down an ecosystem. I strongly believe it. I literally, I think it was this morning, saw a family of blue jays come up to one of the trees they just took down, and the blue jays were just like, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, I'm telling you, blue jays, I feel the same way. What the hell is going on? Do we really need all these trees to be cut down? I mean, even if I believed they did need to be cut down, which I don't, it's still very freaking annoying to have to hear a chainsaw first thing in the morning. I'm so tired, and that's part of the reason I haven't been able to get as much sleep, because I'm getting chainsaw dreams. I'm getting frickin' Texas Chainsaw Massacre nightmares because they keep using a chainsaw on the trees around my house. And these guys are not professional. They broke our fence, like, trees just are falling down, and they don't seem to really have a grasp of what they're doing. I don't know. I'm just complaining. I'm just complaining because I guess I should be happy they're cutting the trees down, because these were pretty sketch trees, I'm not gonna lie. One of them looked like it had Dutch elm disease or something, and it was like leaning really heavily. And if that tree fell, it would have destroyed the neighbor's house, or 2 houses even. It was a big tree. So, maybe my landlord's just, maybe my landlord figures, well, if we're going to cut down 1 or 2 trees, we might as well cut down all the trees. It's just kind of sad, you can almost just like feel like, at least I can, because I'm a hippy dippy, I feel like the sadness in the air, like the earth is like, damn, why are you doing this to us? And it's like, I'm sorry, it's not my call. I only wanted the scary leaning tree to get cut down, really. Man. So that's what's going on in my life. A lot of tree cutting down, a lot of chainsaws. Just in time for Halloween. How festive. All the chainsaws. Yes. I think I know what I'm going to be for Halloween. A tree cutter downer. an arborist, because that's definitely my nightmare right now. Just that sound. What the hell? I see a bunch of fireworks in the distance in real life. What the hell holiday is going on today? I think it's like the first day of Diwali. It's like an Indian holiday. I think that's going on soon. That's the only holiday I could think of. Why am I seeing fireworks? There's more. That's random. Anyone in the comments, go ahead and tell me why you think there would be fireworks going on today of all days. That's so random. I don't know. A lot of people buy illegal fireworks and just shoot them off, and they're as big as frickin' Disneyland fireworks, and it's just to celebrate like a birthday or something. I mean, I don't know. I never really understood fireworks. It's like, you know, I'd rather not watch fireworks. I don't know. It's like they're loud. They hurt your ears. Like, I went to a fireworks show and my ears were ringing one time. I don't know. I was too close to the blast or something, maybe. But I don't get it, man. Like, I guess they're pretty, but they're hella expensive for what the effect is. And it's like you go to Disneyland, everyone's staring up in the sky. They look like zombies. They look like a bunch of turkeys in the rain. You know how, like, on a rainy day, turkeys just stick their heads up and open their mouths and drown themselves? That's how it feels when I'm at Disneyland and I watch people watching the fireworks. It's like, are you guys so simple-minded that the simple flashing of lights that are of different colors really distracts you like this? Really? So I'm fine with it. You know, when there's fireworks at Disneyland, I'm like, all right, a good 30-40% of people here are really dumb and they're just watching the fireworks. Now we ride Space Mountain. Now we ride Indiana Jones. Now we ride Splash Mountain. Now is the time for rides. So that's what I do. I don't watch the frickin' fireworks. I don't even care. I'm a no firework. I'm going to raise a family. Like, when I get married and have kids and we go to Disneyland, I don't know. Unless my wife, like, insists upon it. If I'm not able to convince her, like, that my logic is sound. Like, listen, if we want a free fast pass, then we go on rides during the fireworks. Or the parades. Or whatever stupid crap. I don't get that kind of entertainment. I think it's just fat people. I think it's just people who are like, I'm tired of walking at Disneyland. Let's just sit here and stare at the fireworks or the parade for an hour or two. I think it's just tired fat people. I think that's what's going on there. But, you know, that's 80% of Disneyland is just fat people. I mean, that's like 80% of America in general. God, I went through this whole podcast and I don't think I told a single story. I mean, that's my thing, man, is like, sometimes stories come to me and sometimes they just don't. Like, I'm not that kind of comedian. I like to tell puns. I like to tell silly little jokes that I write down. I'm not much of a storyteller. But the problem is, like, I guess this podcasting thing, you know, you have two choices. You can either rant or tell stories. And, you know, I know people in my comments really like the stories. So, I'm trying to think of another one here. Oh, let's just wrap something up that I just told about the Canadian guy. Remember how I said he hated my cell phone and it was just so crazy, so end of the world that I had a cell phone? Well, we drove to Canada, right? I didn't tell you that, but we did. We drove to Canada and then we drove back. And I won't get into the story of the drive, but I'll just say this. When we got home and he was dropping us off back at my mom's house and we were unloading the car, I couldn't find my cell phone. And I freaked out. And I was like crying because I was like, my mom told me one thing: do not lose this cell phone. It was expensive or it's special. I'm not going to get you another one. Whatever my mom said, I don't remember. but I lost the cell phone and I was so upset, and I thought I did so good that entire time, that entire 2 months or whatever. I didn't lose the cell phone once. And here I am after this terrible car trip, and we're finally back home. I'm finally back with my mom, and I'm finally home. Where the hell is my cell phone? I can't find it. It's not in my pockets. I can't find it in the car. And I'm freaking out, and I'm just like, fine, I lost it. I'm a terrible person. I lost the cell phone. I'm sorry, Mom. And then the Canadian ex-stepfather, he pulls me aside and he gives me back my cell phone. That asshole, as soon as he saw it, and it wasn't intended by, because I think what happened is I got home and I was so excited and I ran out of the car, Mom, and I gave her a big hug. And I forgot the phone. I think it was like I was asleep in the car probably, and I just woke up and I ran out and hugged my mom. And the phone was probably right there on my seat. And he saw it and snatched it up, and it was like, hee. One last time I can fuck with this kid. One last time I can be an asshole. I can give him some more trauma. One more time. One more time I can really upset him and mess with this kid's brains. Hate that, man. And I'm trying to think of a better way to end this story, but, you know, I went out there to say goodbye to him, and he finally gave me my phone back, and at that moment, I just really knew that this man was evil. This man was not on my side. Never has been, never will be. I don't know. I guess the only silver lining I could say is probably about 10 years later I saw him again. Except now I was taller, stronger, and I could easily beat him up. And even though I didn't beat him up, it was just nice to feel like I could. I'm at Taco Express. I got to get my dinner. Hope you had a good time. Hope you had a good episode. And I hope you have a good day.